If you're middle class and you think you're building wealth right now, I've got news for you. You're not. You're getting poorer every single day and you don't even realize it. There's one habit, one silent killer that's draining your bank account, destroying your retirement, and keeping you trapped in the paycheck-to-paycheck nightmare. And here's the worst part. You've been told this habit is smart. You've been told it's responsible. You've been told it's the right thing to do. It's not. It's financial suicide. Stay with me because what I'm about to reveal in the next few minutes will either wake you up or confirm that you're already too far gone. Your choice. Let me be clear about something. The middle class in 2026 is facing the biggest wealth transfer in modern history, and most of you are on the losing side. I see it every day. Hardworking families, people who did everything right, educated, employed, responsible, and they're still broke. They're still struggling. They're still one emergency away from financial disaster. Why? Because there's a habit so deeply embedded in middle-class culture that questioning it feels like betrayal. But I'm going to question it, I'm going to expose it, and if you're smart, you'll listen. Here's what's happening right now in 2026. Housing costs are crushing families. Inflation is eating away at your purchasing power faster than your salary can keep up. Retirement accounts that looked healthy 5 years ago now look terrifying when you run the real numbers. And cash, forget about it. The cash you're holding is losing value every single month. Yet despite all of this, despite every warning sign flashing red, the middle class keeps doing the same thing over and over again. Einstein called that insanity. I call it financial negligence. You want to know what the habit is? I'll tell you. But first, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your monthly expenses and asked yourself this question? Is this making me richer or poorer? Not whether you can afford it, not whether it feels good, not whether your neighbors are doing it. Is it making you richer or poorer? Most people won't like hearing this, but most people can't answer that question honestly because they've never actually asked it. The habit that's destroying the middle class in 2026 is this: living like you're wealthier than you actually are. Let me say that again because I know some of you just felt that sting. You are living like you're wealthier than you actually are. You're spending money on lifestyle inflation that's disguised as normal living. You're financing comfort, you're leasing status, you're paying monthly subscriptions for things you don't need with money you don't have to impress people who don't care. And every single month, you're getting poorer while telling yourself you're doing fine. Here's the brutal truth. That car payment you're making, it's not building wealth, it's destroying it. That bigger house you upgraded to because you got a raise, it's not an investment, it's a trap. Those credit card balances you're carrying because everyone has debt, they're not normal, they're financial cancer, and the worst part, you've been conditioned to believe this is what middle-class life looks like. It's not. It's what middle-class financial destruction looks like. Let me tell you what I see when I look at middle-class spending in 2026. I see people earning $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year with nothing to show for it. No real savings, no investment portfolio, no passive income streams, just expenses, just obligations, just monthly payments that never end. And when I ask them where their money went, they can't tell me. They genuinely don't know because they've normalized bleeding money on things that don't matter while ignoring the things that do. You know what the real tragedy is? Most of you watching this right now are nodding your head. You know I'm right. You feel it in your gut. But here's what's going to happen. 90% of you will finish this video, maybe hit the like button, maybe leave a comment, and then go right back to the same habits tomorrow. Why? Because changing is uncomfortable. Because admitting you've been doing it wrong for years hurts. Because your friends and family are doing the same thing. So it feels normal. But normal doesn't mean right. Normal just means common. And being commonly broke is still broke. If you ignore this, that's on you. I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to tell you the truth. And the truth is this: 2026 is not going to be kind to the middle class that refuses to change. The economic pressure is only getting worse. Inflation isn't going away. Housing costs aren't coming down. Your job isn't as secure as you think it is. And that comfortable lifestyle you're financing, it's a house of cards, and the wind is picking up. Now, here's what you need to understand before we go any further. This isn't about deprivation. This isn't about living like a monk or never enjoying your money. This is about waking up to reality. This is about understanding the difference between building wealth and performing wealth, because right now, most of you are performing. You're playing the part. You look successful on the outside while your bank account tells a different story. And that gap between appearance and reality, that's where your financial future is dying. In the next section, I'm going to break down exactly how this habit operates in your daily life. I'm going to show you the specific ways you're bleeding money without realizing it. I'm going to expose the lies you've been told about what's normal and what's smart. And I'm going to give you the framework to identify whether you're building wealth or destroying it. But I'm warning you right now, what comes next is going to make you uncomfortable. It's going to challenge everything you thought you knew about money. And if you're not ready to hear it, now's your chance to leave. But if you stay, if you're serious about protecting your financial future in 2026, then buckle up, because we're just getting started. All right, let's get specific, because I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, Kevin, I'm not living beyond my means. I pay my bills. I'm responsible. Really? Let me prove to you right now that you're wrong. I'm about to walk you through a typical middle-class month, and I guarantee you're going to see yourself in this. And when you do, you're going to realize just how much money you're throwing away without even knowing it. This is where it gets real. Let's start with your morning. You wake up, and what's the first thing you do? You grab your phone. That phone, you're paying $70, $80, maybe $100 a month for it, not because you need the latest model, not because your old one stopped working, but because the carrier offered you an upgrade and 0% financing made it feel free. It's not free. You're paying for it. And here's the kicker. That phone loses 50% of its value the moment you walk out of the store. You just financed a depreciating asset. Congratulations, you started losing money before breakfast. Now you get in your car. Let me guess, you're making a payment on it, right? $400, $500, $600 a month, and you justified it because you needed reliable transportation. You needed something safe for the family. You needed it for work. I'm not saying you don't need a car. I'm saying you don't need a $40,000 car when a $20,000 car does the exact same job, but you bought the lifestyle. You bought the leather seats and the premium sound system and the advanced safety package, and now you're stuck with a payment that's draining your account for the next 5, 6, 7 years. That's not transportation, that's a financial anchor. Let's talk about your house. This is where it really gets ugly. You bought the biggest house you could qualify for because the bank said you could afford it. The bank lied. Just because you got approved for a $500,000 mortgage doesn't mean you can afford a $500,000 mortgage, but you believed them. You believed the real estate agent who said it's an investment. You believed your parents who said buy the biggest house you can because real estate always goes up, except now you're spending 40, 50, 60% of your income just on housing. Mortgage, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, utilities, your house poor, and you don't even realize it. Here's what nobody tells you. That big house isn't making you wealthy. It's making you stuck. You can't switch jobs because you need the income to cover the mortgage. You can't invest because all your money goes to the house. You can't build an emergency fund because the house ate it. You can't take financial risks because the house won't let you. You traded freedom for square footage, and now you're trapped. And the worst part, you're telling yourself it's fine because everyone else is doing it too. Everyone else is trapped too. That doesn't make it smart. That makes it common stupidity. Now let's talk about the small stuff, the stuff you don't even think about. Your coffee, your lunch, your streaming services, your gym membership you haven't used in 3 months, your subscription boxes, your food delivery apps. Individually, these things seem harmless. $10 here, $15 there. Who cares, right? Wrong. Add it up. I want you to actually add it up right now. Go through your bank statement from last month and add up every single subscription, every coffee run, every convenience purchase. I'll wait. You done? Now multiply that by 12. That's how much you're spending per year on things you barely notice. For most middle-class families, that number is somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000. Money that could be invested, money that could be building wealth, money that could be protecting your future. But instead, it's gone, evaporated on convenience and comfort. Let me be clear about something. I'm not telling you to stop enjoying life. I'm not telling you to live in a cave and eat ramen noodles. I'm telling you to wake up to the difference between spending and investing. Every dollar you spend is a dollar that's not working for you. Every monthly payment you commit to is freedom you're giving away. Every lifestyle upgrade you finance is future wealth you're destroying. And in 2026, with inflation eating your purchasing power and economic uncertainty around every corner, you cannot afford to keep making these mistakes. Here's the part that's going to make you angry. You already know this. Deep down, you already know you're overspending. You know the car payment is too high. You know the house is too expensive. You know the subscriptions are out of control, but you keep doing it anyway. Why? Because stopping feels like failure, because downgrading feels like going backwards, because admitting you made a mistake is harder than pretending everything's fine. But pretending doesn't pay the bills. Pretending doesn't build wealth. Pretending just delays the inevitable crash. I see this every single day. Smart people, educated people, hardworking people making catastrophically stupid financial decisions because they're more worried about what their neighbors think than what their bank account says. They're financing a lifestyle they can't afford to maintain an image that nobody cares about. And meanwhile, their retirement account is a joke. Their savings are non-existent, their debt is growing, and their financial stress is slowly destroying their health, their relationships, and their future. But hey, at least the car looks good in the driveway, right? You want to know what wealthy people do differently. They don't care about looking wealthy. They care about being wealthy. They drive older cars. They live in smaller houses. They cut subscriptions they don't use. They say no to lifestyle inflation. They make decisions based on math, not emotions. They understand that every dollar saved is a dollar that can be invested. Every dollar invested is a dollar that can compound. And compound interest over time is the difference between financial freedom and financial slavery. But you can't get there if you're bleeding money on things that don't matter. So here's my challenge to you right now. Pause this video. Go look at your bank statement from last month. Find 3 expenses that didn't make you richer. Just 3. I guarantee you'll find 10. I guarantee you'll find 20. And when you see them all listed out, when you see how much money you're wasting, you're going to feel sick. Good. Use that feeling. Let it motivate you to change, because awareness without action is just entertainment, and you didn't click on this video to be entertained. You clicked on it because something inside you knows you need to fix this. So fix it. In the next section, I'm going to show you exactly what happens if you don't change. I'm going to walk you through the nightmare scenario that's coming for middle-class families who keep doing what they're doing. I'm going to show you the math, the timeline, and the devastating reality of financial ignorance in 2026. And trust me, you need to hear this. Because once you see what's coming, you can't unsee it. And that's when real change becomes possible. You're still here. Good. That means you're serious. That means you're ready to face the truth. Because what I'm about to show you isn't theory. This isn't some hypothetical scenario. This is the actual math of what happens when middle-class families keep making the mistakes we just talked about. I'm going to walk you through the timeline year by year. And by the end of this section, you're either going to change everything or you're going to bury your head in the sand and hope for the best. Spoiler alert, hope is not a financial strategy. Let's start with right now, 2026. You're making, let's say, $75,000 a year. That sounds decent, right? Middle class, comfortable. Except after taxes, you're taking home about $55,000, $4,500 a month. Now let's subtract your expenses. Mortgage or rent, there goes $2,000. Car payment and insurance, another $700. Utilities, phone, internet, $500. Groceries, $600, and we haven't even touched subscriptions, gas, eating out, kids' activities, credit card minimum payments. By the time you're done, you've got maybe $200-300 left, if you're lucky. That's not building wealth, that's treading water, and the water level is rising. Fast forward 1 year, 2027, inflation hit you again. Your rent went up, your insurance premiums went up, gas prices went up, grocery costs went up, but your salary, maybe you got a 3% raise. Congratulations, you're now losing money faster than you were last year. Your purchasing power dropped. Your savings account, if you even have one, is sitting there earning 0.5% interest while inflation eats 7% of its value. You're going backwards. And here's the brutal part. You don't even notice it happening because it's slow, it's gradual. It's the financial equivalent of boiling a frog. Now we're in 2028. You've been doing this for 2 years. You're tired, you're stressed, you're working harder than ever and getting nowhere. So what do? You make it worse. You refinance your car to lower the monthly payment, which sounds smart until you realize you just added 2 more years to the loan. You put an unexpected expense on a credit card because your emergency fund doesn't exist. You skip contributing to your retirement account this year because you need the cash flow. Every single one of those decisions feels necessary in the moment. Every single one of them is destroying your future. Let me show you what's happening to your net worth. In 2026, let's say you had $10,000 in savings and maybe $50,000 in retirement accounts. That's $60,000 total. Sounds okay. But you're also carrying $20,000 in credit card debt, a $30,000 car loan, and a $400,000 mortgage. Your liabilities are $450,000. Your assets are $60,000. Your actual net worth, negative $390,000. You're not building wealth, you're drowning in debt, and every year you continue these habits, you're sinking deeper. By 2029, something breaks. Maybe it's a medical emergency. Maybe it's a job loss. Maybe it's a major car repair or a broken furnace. Doesn't matter what it is. What matters is you have no buffer, you have no safety net. So you do what millions of other middle-class families do. You borrow more, you tap into your home equity, you max out another credit card, you raid your retirement account and pay the penalties. And just like that, you went from struggling to desperate, from uncomfortable to crisis mode. And the worst part, you still think this is temporary. You still think you'll catch up next year. You won't. Here's what 2030 looks like if you don't change course. You're now 4 years older, 4 years closer to retirement, and your financial situation is worse than it was in 2026. You have less savings, more debt, higher expenses, lower financial flexibility. Your stress levels are through the roof. Your relationship is strained because money fights are constant. Your health is suffering because financial stress literally kills people. And when you lie awake at 3 in the morning wondering how you're going to make it all work, the answer is becoming clearer. You're not. Not like this. Not on this path. Let me be brutally honest with you. The middle class in 2026 is facing a retirement crisis that most people are completely unprepared for. The average retirement savings for someone in their 50s right now is less than $200,000. You know how long that lasts in retirement? Maybe 7 years if you're lucky and live frugally. Then what? Social Security? That's a punchline, not a plan. You're going to be 70 years old, still working, still struggling, wondering where it all went wrong. And the answer is simple. It went wrong right here, right now, in 2026, when you had a chance to change and didn't take it. Here's the math that terrifies me. Let's say you're 40 years old right now. You want to retire at 65. That's 25 years. If you're spending every dollar you make right now, if you're not investing, if you're not building assets, you're expecting to work for 25 more years and then somehow magically have enough money to stop working for another 20 or 30 years. How does that math work? It doesn't. You're planning to fail. You just don't realize it yet. And every year you wait to fix this makes it exponentially harder. But here's what makes me angry. It doesn't have to be this way. You're not a victim. You're not powerless. You're making choices every single day, and those choices have consequences. The car you drive is a choice. The house you live in is a choice. The subscriptions you pay for are choices. The restaurants you eat at are choices. And every single one of those choices is either moving you toward financial freedom or away from it. There's no neutral. You're either building or destroying, and right now most of you are destroying. You want to know what the alternative timeline looks like? The one where you actually wake up and change? Let me paint that picture. You cut your expenses by 20%, not by living like a pauper, but by eliminating waste. You kill the subscriptions you don't use. You downgrade the car. You stop financing your lifestyle. Suddenly, you've got an extra $1,000 a month. You put $500 toward debt. You put $500 toward investments. In 1 year, you've paid off $6,000. $6,000 in debt and invested $6,000. In 5 years, you're debt-free and you've got $40,000 invested. In 10 years, you've got over $150,000 invested and it's compounding. In 25 years, you're looking at over $1 million. That's the difference between making smart choices and stupid ones. That's the difference between financial freedom and financial slavery. But most people won't do it. Most people will watch this video, nod their heads, feel motivated for about 48 hours, and then go right back to their old habits. They'll justify it. They'll rationalize it. They'll say, I'll start next month, or I just need to get through this year first, or it's not that bad. And 5 years from now, 10 years from now, they'll be exactly where I just described. Broke, stressed, and wondering what happened. What happened is they chose comfort over change. They chose the familiar over the smart. They chose to keep up with the Joneses instead of keeping up with their own financial goals. So let me ask you a direct question, and I want you to answer it honestly, even if it's just to yourself. Are you willing to sacrifice your future for your present? Are you willing to trade 20 years of financial freedom for a car that impresses nobody and a lifestyle that's making you miserable? Because that's the trade you're making right now. That's the choice in front of you, and time is running out. 2026 isn't going to wait for you to get comfortable with change. The economy isn't going to pause while you figure it out. You either act now or you accept the consequences later. In the final section, I'm going to give you the exact framework to break free from this cycle. I'm going to show you the specific steps you need to take in the next 30 days to stop the bleeding and start building. I'm going to give you the strategy that wealthy people use, but middle-class families ignore. And I'm going to challenge you to make a decision right here, right now, about what kind of financial future you actually want. Because talking about change is easy. Actually, changing is hard. And in the next section, you're going to find out if you've got what it takes.